Alright, welcome back guys to another video for Battlefield 2042. And today I actually want to go over a setting that I found, and I'm not really sure if Call of Duty has this either. Hopefully they will in Modern Warfare 2 when that eventually comes around. But Battlefield 2042 has some very interesting controls, especially when you're able to tune a bunch of sensitivities and stuff to your controller. So I am playing on the PS5, so this might only apply to the PS5 or like PS4, PS5 or console players playing with a controller. If you are on a PC or you're using mouse and keyboard, I'm not sure if it'll actually have this kind of stuff with this too. But you can go over to controller. It's on the top part through the settings there, and press R2 and then scroll all the way over to controller tuning. And you get down to a certain point where it says R2 dead zone and it's automatically put at 0. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, so R2 dead zone is like how much it needs to be pulled to activate the input, which is 0. So that's pretty much instant. When the however amount of like force you need to put onto the controller, that's how much time it will actually set into or like how far you need to press down to actually help it out, or when setting off certain input for it. So R2, obviously, I'm using that one as my shooting button. I'm not sure if you can switch it over to R1 if you guys use like L1 to aim and R1 to shoot. I use L2 to aim and R2 to shoot, or right trigger or right bumper. I mean, for Xbox guys, if you want to use those terms. Uh, but the R2 max input threshold is also pretty much the same thing. I'm not really sure what is really the difference between the two. But the R2 max input threshold is making it to where that normally when you're firing your weapon every time you hold down the trigger, you have to actually push down the entire trigger to where it's hitting the back of the controller going into like actually into the controller to fire, like pulling down the trigger like you would for a gun. Uh, Making it to where that it is at 5 right here, the like max input threshold of 5. That now makes it to where that the R2 button essentially is very similar to just clicking a mouse or clicking a button on the mouse, or I guess right clicking on the mouse there, or left click. I'm not really sure. But anyway, yeah, I think it's left click for shooting on there. But yeah, so it makes it to where it's making it to where you don't need as much pressure, and you can usually use like a bunch of different guns. It makes it to where they're able to react faster and not spend those slight milliseconds of your finger, pressing in for the input to actually shoot to register into the game and start firing. So it could possibly get you out of a bunch of scenarios where you could have possibly died at. I think this is also like really good to have. You can also go up here to access dead zone. That's also the amount of pressure you need to be putting onto your analog sticks, or yeah, the analog sticks there, so you're able to put amount of pressure and see how fast you can turn around with that. You can make it to where it is very sensitive. I don't really do that. I do make it to where it can push slightly to the left or right, but not as near as much as you need to, like hitting real far to the right or anything. So it makes it to where you can spin around, essentially speeding up your faster input to spin around, and essentially turning up your sensitivity in a sense, which is really weird. On top of the sensitivity tuning by default, so in Modern Warfare you're able to do that. And I think in Vanguard and stuff, so you're able to do that just fine. And that makes it to where that you're still, or then you're actually now in line with the sensitivity that you get from a mouse and keyboard. So and now we have aim assist along with that. So console players, you don't really stand much of a chance. So we have that, and also we have an FOV slider, so there's not really a whole lot y'all really have over us. We also have a pretty well-performing console running at a solid 120 FPS while you guys are struggling over there. But anyway, also have my controller vibration to off. It just makes it to where that just vibrates a lot. I don't really like that, but those are the settings I run on here, especially these two. If you want to, you can also press L2, turn down like the max input threshold. You can turn that all the way down to 5 as well. I have it out to 100. If you want to click that, you can. There's not really too nothing really that bad. It's the exact same thing as the R2 button. The L2 one, I'm using that as the aiming, so all I have to do is just click that and aim, or just barely put my finger over it. So if you want to do that, but normally I have my finger resting on them almost all the time anyway, so I kind of just not really do that. I'll probably turn it down about like halfway so it doesn't spend as much time on there, but I don't want to accidentally aim in at an enemy, right on top of me. So there's that. But what I want to go over is not only that you're able to actually have the input going out faster in game, but this makes it to where that all you can do is just tap your finger on the R2 button or the R1 if there is a way to switch it around, and you're able to do that, and it helps a ton for semi-auto guns. So I use the AC 42. I haven't used this gun a whole lot. I heard it's supposed to be like one of the best, but I just now unlocked a long barrel on it. That's like one of the very first attachments you get, so I barely have anything for that. But I've been using things like the SVK, the DM7, the VCAR, anything that's semi-automatic really, and it helps out. You're able to spam way faster, and it is almost seemingly having a faster fire rate by doing so. I'm not really sure if it's big enough to really make a huge impact, but it seems like it is, and it seems a little bit more smoother. So, for you guys playing on console, or if you want to do this on PC, if you have a controller set in, by all means, go ahead and set it up. Yeah, I'm going to be running this mostly for all my gameplay anyway, so that's going to be a pretty solid deal moving forward. If you guys, found this actually interesting or like helpful, I think it's really helpful. It'll make it to where that you're able to be way more competitive with way more guns that might be faster firing than semi-autos, and you're able to probably compete a little bit faster just from the less effort put into, pulling the trigger there. So it's just making it to where you just tap it. All you really do is just need to tap it with your finger instead of actually pressing down on it, which is really cool. So yeah, pretty solid deal. Hope you guys enjoyed it or enjoy the video. It's just going to be a real quick one in the menu. Uh, but aside from that, there's not really much I need to really cover. And I'll see you all in the next one.